Woman, thou art loose to this Dream Warrior Fireside chat. My name is Tanisha Jackson Warner, and I'm the founder of the Dream Project. And on behalf of the Dream Project and Toyota, we want to say thank you for stopping by our Driving Dreams virtual booth. We want to thank Toyota for partnering with us and for sponsoring Woman Thou Art Loose, and for all of the ladies that have decided to stop by our virtual booth. You are in for exciting content, starting with this amazing conversation with an iconic dreamer, a dreamer that I am so excited to talk to because she is indeed a dream warrior. And the content that we're going to be sharing with you over this week is all around how do you drive your dreams forward in the face of obstacles, in twists and turns. We know that 2020 has dealt us some changes that none of us could foresee. And so our intention is to allow for you to speak with this dream warrior and get some tools and insights. So I'm going to welcome into the room Pastor Cora Jakes Coleman. Woo! I am so excited to have Pastor Cora Jakes Coleman here. So, as you know, many of you already know Pastor Cora. However, I know that we have new people joining us from all over the world, and I just got to brag on my friend a second. So let me tell you a little bit more about her that maybe you didn't know. So Pastor Cora Jakes Coleman is a powerhouse preacher, associate pastor, and an overseer of the children's ministry at the Potter's House Church of Dallas. Cora is proudly following in the footsteps of her well-known and influential parents, New York Times bestselling authors, movie producers, and mega church pastors, Bishop T.D. Jakes and First Lady Sarita Jakes. She is known around the world as a powerful prayer warrior. Cora Jakes Coleman is an accomplished speaker and best-selling author, and she recently released her second book, Ferocious Warrior: Dismantle Your Enemy and Rise. It is in this book that Pastor Cora shares her powerful testimony of how she's battled difficult obstacles, including infertility, loss, depression, and insecurity. And you know what? She won. She won. And that is why she is here today, to just drop jewels around how do you overcome obstacles? How do you stick in the fight when changes happen and when everything is unsettling? So, Pastor Cora, we're going to dive right into it. Yes, dive. And I mean, I want you to bring it. Give us some of the ferocious tips. We want the. So I want to know, can you share with us a time where you encountered difficulties, and how did you handle encountering those difficulties? And as you share this story, any tips that you may have for the ladies that are listening in?
Absolutely. I could think of a lot of different difficulties that I've been facing, but for the sake of the climate that we're in, I was going to tell another story, and then I'm going to shift to something different, and speak of a more current difficulty than a difficulty that is behind me. And so when all of this pandemic stuff started and everything started coming down the pipeline as far as Corona and everything, I started getting a lot of emotional anxiety. I am first an extrovert and then an introvert. So I am used to being around my kids. I'm the children's pastor. So I've got like over 500 to 600 kids that I used to see every Sunday. And for some of them, I was their only hug. For some of them, I was their only smile. For some of them, I was the only "you're great" that they were going to receive for that entire week. And so it was very, very difficult for me not being able to see my kiddos, not being able to know if they're okay, not being able to know if they're eating or if they're cold or anything. It just got very, very emotional. And so I had to figure out something that was going to work for me with my anxiety. And so I started walking. And I am not by no means a fitness, health like person, but I started walking, and at the beginning, I just walked where I could. And unfortunately, in the beginning, that was just to the end of the block of my neighborhood. And then back because I literally felt like I couldn't breathe. And so I just kept pushing myself more every week, just pushing myself more every week to go further than I had went before. And so I started with maybe a quarter of a mile to now walking 3 to 5 miles every single day. And I've lost over 60 pounds since last year, and have just really been focusing on a healthy lifestyle, doing things the right way. I think we all know what we're supposed to do. It's just a matter of being disciplined and determined enough to do it. And so I had to put myself in a position to be willing to be determined enough to say that just like I felt like I was worthy of other things, I was worthy of choosing me. I was worthy of choosing a healthier path and route for me. And so I think that one of the things that I use to get through those difficulties is walking. Another thing that I use to get through those difficulties is praying while I'm walking. I'm definitely a strong believer in prayer. I'm a strong believer in faith. And so when you give me a challenge, I'm going to take it on. And my husband says I have abnormal determination. And so I try to make sure that I put myself in a position to take on the challenge. So when I'm walking, I walk for my nephew Judah. He's fighting for his life. He's my god nephew, and so I walk for him because he can't walk right now, but I'm believing God that he will walk. I walk for the children that I'm believing God I will birth one day, and I walk for people that I know in my crew boos, I call them, that are unable to walk. And so it's been giving me a lot of purpose. It's been giving me a lot of strength. I've never walked 5 miles in my entire life. And so to be able to say, like, I am daily, like not every other day, not 3 times a week, every day, I am walking 3 to 5 miles is like crazy for me. And so though I am very, very big on spiritual help, and as my sister Dr. Anita would say, prayer is a strategy, but therapy, no, what she say, prayer is a weapon, but therapy is a strategy. And so I felt like I really needed to put myself in a posture of proper strategy. And I think that when we're going through difficulties, we have to be able to be both spiritually aware of what helps us, whether it's prayer, whether it's worship, whether it's praise dancing, whatever it is, being aware of what helps you spiritually, but also being aware of what helps you mentally. And so physically, it is biologically accurate that walking helps with anxiety. So I was very emotionally anxious, but ever since I started walking, my anxiety is under control. My ability to kind of pace myself in the pandemic has gotten under control. And so I believe that that's one of the things that has helped me. It's just really being close to my prayer life and my faith walk, but also putting in logical, practical tools that are going to help me physically as well.
That is awesome. I already got like goosebumps going on. And ladies, so a few things that I just took away from what Pastor Cora said. Number one, she was in tune with where she was on the journey. Where was she in life? Whether it's in general in life and or on your dream journey. I think right now in the year of 2020, taking the time to be really honest with where are you, that's a starting point. So the fact that you've come to Women Thou Art Loose, use the next few days to think about that. Ask God to reveal that to you and being vulnerable enough to say where you are. I think, Pastor Cora, the fact that you are so in tune that I'm anxious, something's off kilter, I'm out of alignment, So, ladies, let's be truthful and vulnerable over the next few days. And then, secondly, after she had that awareness of here's where I am, the connection of mind, body, and spirit. Whether you are a mom and you are now the teacher, right, at home and having
Right.
to cook and all of those things, or maybe you're a business owner and you're trying to determine how does my business stay afloat during this pandemic. Those are a lot of different things that's coming up. I think, Pastor Cora, your acute awareness that you had to take care of you in the equation with all of these changes that are occurring. So, dreamers go the distance because they realize that they have to have the mind, body, and spirit to run the journey for the long term. And
Mhm.
so, even think about, ladies, get your journals out. What do you need to be doing, mind, body, and spirit? And then, lastly, the point, Pastor Cora, is once you got in tune with that, the practice of prayer, and you connected to a why that was greater than you. When
Mhm.
you said you're walking for your kids, you're walking for dreams that are still coming, you're believing God to birth children, you're walking for your nephew, I believe it was that you said. And so she got in tune with the bigger why. So that's something else we want to encourage you, ladies, is to get in tune with a bigger why. So next up, Pastor Cora, I have my iPad here. You know, there's a lot of technologies going on in this world. I'll
Oh,
just show
yeah.
you, ladies. And I didn't plan for my iPad to lock up, but that's okay. So what would you say? What has been some of your greatest accomplishment that you are proud of, personally and professionally?
Personally, I'm proud of the wife that I am, but I am proud of the mother that I am. When you talk about this virtual learning, it is a real situation. I've got a seventh grader and I have a first grader, and having to navigate the both of them. My husband is normally the seventh grade teacher, assistant, and I am the first grade teacher, and it has been very, very humbling,
Mm.
having to teach them, having to be the lunch lady, the breakfast lady, the get up, y'all, it's time to go to school lady, the bell. I'm also the bell, and I keep telling people that we have been called to do all of these things without our permission. Okay, nobody asked me that I want to be the lunch lady, the breakfast lady, the bell lady, and the teacher all in one day. But I have been able to get through it, and it's been an amazing accomplishment. And though my children miss school, for the safety of them and just for my mental health, I've got to keep my kids, and I'm grateful to be able to do that. I'm grateful to work for a company that cares about me, because I'm seeing a lot of companies that don't care. It's just been a really humbling experience that has to be a huge accomplishment for me as a mother. If you had told me last year you're going to be a teacher, you're going to be homeschooling your kids, you're going to be the lunch lady, you're going to be the principal, you're going to be the breakfast lady and the bell, I would have been like, no. But it's been a major accomplishment. And then to be able to say that my children are successful in doing it, especially my first grader. Now my seventh grader, she a little bumpy right now. Y'all just pray for her strength in the Lord. Seventh grade is whooping her tail. She was up till almost 2 a.m. yesterday doing homework. But they're successfully thriving, and to have a village and to have just people who care about my kids, it's just been an amazing thing. So I feel great accomplishment with just the people I've surrounded around my kids, and just being a mother in general. And professionally, I'd say Ferocious Warrior, my book, Ferocious Warrior, and then being able to kind of preach the foundation of that at the last Woman Thou Art Loose masterclass was my biggest accomplishment. Like I think in ministry, that sermon, that book, the whole vibe, like is the best thing that I've done. Like by far, I watched it for the first time all the way through a couple of weeks ago and was just like baffled that that was actually me. Like I was taking several double takes. Like this is you preaching up here for the first time, and it was a major accomplishment. It's my first time ever preaching at one of my dad's conferences. For him to trust me not only to preach but to do a morning glory was just a phenomenal experience and a huge accomplishment that I will remember for the rest of my life. I don't think I'm ever gonna forget that sermon. It truly changed my life.
Well, I can say, Pastor Cora, I was there. I was in the room for that morning glory. And number one, you had us all just slain in the spirit. But we'll come back to that. But two, I think what we witnessed on the stage that morning is you stretch and evolve into a new dimension, and everyone felt it and we experienced it with you in real time. So I don't know if before you took that stage on that morning, if you were nervous, did you feel prepared and ready, did you feel equipped? I just know that when the moment was before you, you stood in it and you were willing to stretch beyond whatever may have been going on in your mind. And because of that, we witnessed thousands of women be freed and be blessed. And so what was it like before you stepping into that moment, the morning glory, the full glory of what God was calling you to do? Was there conversations going on in your mind? Did you feel equipped and ready?
Absolutely not. I to an extent I felt equipped, but ready, yeah, so. The woman with the issue of blood, I could preach her in my sleep. She's very, very in depth, and she's embedded in me in a way that no other story that I've read has been. And so I felt equipped to be able to effectively share her story and then to go further and effectively demonstrating her story, because I believe that people kind of forget that struggle. And to be honest, I wanted more people on the stage with me when I climbed out there, just to really show her struggle to get to Christ. And I think that it made it real for people. It made it something they could connect to. Like, we've all been trying to get to Christ, or have all been in a place where we felt so broken that we had to drag our body to Christ. And so before I went out, I was very nervous about how people were going to receive the demonstration. And I was nervous about how I was going to really depict her in the authenticity that was required and needed for that time. And so I remember just praying and asking God, like, put her on me before I go out there. Like, I want to feel how she felt. I want to feel how fragile and weak she was. I want to feel how hurt she was. Like, I put her on me. And I remember the Holy Spirit saying, I'm going to give her to you, but when you are done, you have to let her go. Oh, wow. And so going out there, I was not of myself. From the moment I took that first step, I was not of myself. It was like the weight of who she was fell on me first step out. And I was crying. Like, people thought, like, man, she's an amazing actress. I was literally crying as I was dragging my body across the floor, because I could feel the weight of her struggle. I could feel the weight of the humiliation around her and the people turning their nose up. And so it gave me an opportunity to take myself out of it, to take my nervousness out of it, to take my feelings of not being ready or equipped out of it, and to just go for it and fully consume myself with the moment so that I could give people an experience they'd never had before. I grew up with morning glory.
Mhm.
But there is a very distinct difference between performance and power. And I did not want to get myself in a position where I looked like I was performing but brought no power. And so I had to ask God to consume me with her, because I knew that the power of God would be able to show the women what glory really felt like. And I remember saying that in my prayer, God, they asked for morning glory, so show them what it is. They asked for glory, so show them what it looks like, because I wanted them to have that experience. I wanted them to walk away saying, that's glory. And I was able to do that. I was able to do that, but not without extreme humility and extremely taking myself out of the situation and letting God fully consume the moment. And he did. And there are people who are watching it now that are still being blessed and profoundly just encouraged by that message. It still has the power on it. It still has that glory on it, and it wows me even now.
Now, Pastor Cora, for the women that are watching us right now, where can they go and look at the Morning Glory sermon? Because, ladies, she's talking about Morning Glory at Women Thou Art Loose 2018 in
Yes.
October. I'll never forget. Where can they find that content?
I actually just posted it on my YouTube channel. I had never watched the sermon. And so once I got it, I asked the people, like, what do y'all want me to release first? And the Woman That Art Loose Pursuit of Power was the first thing that they asked me to release. So it's on my YouTube channel right now.
So, ladies, you have to, during this conference or during one of the breaks or late tonight, go to Pastor Cora's YouTube page and watch this. Now, Pastor Cora, I just can't brush over this moment because there's so many dreamer lessons in what you've talked about. So, ladies, one thing I want you to know is, as the founder of the Dream Project, I've been blessed enough to interview iconic dreamers like Pastor Cora, over 200. And here's the universal truth. At some point in their journey, they're called to something greater than what they feel equipped they can do. And the commonality is a willing yes to the call. And I call that willing yes to the call, saying yes to the stretch, because it's going to be something that will take you from the zip code of your comfort zone into new territory. You're going to have to stretch and expand beyond who you are today. Now, if you're at this conference right now, the virtual experience, I'm going to say God is calling you to stretch, and he's calling you into more. We just heard Pastor Cora, like Pastor Cora, say that before she walked out on that stage, she was nervous. Before she walked out on that stage, she had conversations going on in her mind. And this is a young lady that has grown up in the house of Bishop T.D. Jakes and First Lady Sarita Jakes. From the outside looking in, Pastor Cora, we would say you would just be so confident and know that, okay, I can go do this. But she just shared with us, she had those questions as well. But what makes her an iconic dreamer, what makes her a dream warrior, is in the face of the fear, in the face of the nerves, in the face of not feeling equipped, in the face of all of those things that were going on, she still was a committed yes to God's call. And she walked out on that stage. Another thing that she did is she didn't attempt to do it in her own strength. She said she stopped and said, God, if we're going to do it, I need you to completely take over. So, whatever this is that God is calling you to do, we know it's big and we know you can't do it in your own strength. That's why you're here, because we need to reinforce to you that the way you're going to accomplish what he's calling you to do exactly what Pastor Cora just said. She asked God, take over. If I'm going to walk on that stage, it's all you. And when you said the difference between performance and power in this digital social media world, when you scroll through that phone, everybody look like they just living the best life ever. So guys, it's easy for us to perform in this world that we live in, especially on digital and social media. But there's a difference between performing and playing what it looks like and totally saying, this is not about me. God, your glory, your glory, your glory, you take over. At that point, you're not even concerned what you may look like. So he may be calling you to do something that you're going to have to release your own self-concern of what is this going to look like? Am I going to look like it's perfected? Am I going to look like the performance is right? So there was so many nuggets. Woo, you almost took me out. You almost took me out. Now I want to go back to this one as well. So as a mother, we know there are thousands of mothers that, and I laugh because you said you did not ask to sign up for teacher.
Sure did not. Sure did not.
And I have so many mother friends that have told me the same thing. But here's some of the lessons that I think we got in that, Pastor Cora. No one expected the twists and turns that 2020 has given us. But in listening to Pastor Cora, she was willing to pivot. She was willing to try on new titles. She was willing to go with the flow. She was willing to probably have to release perfection, because if you've never taught before, you didn't come out the gate a perfect teacher, right?
Right.
And I also think she had the knowledge of knowing that the plans that she had in her head, the ultimate copywriter and editor of all of our plans has to be God. And so there was this willingness to go with the flow. So I think it was so many lessons in the fact of you really fully embracing, you and your husband becoming virtual teachers. Now, are there any practical down home tips you want to give the mothers on how do you have that thing working in the house with the kids, both a seventh grader, that like how practical tips?
Well, the best and most practical tip I can give is create a menu plan, okay? In real life, a breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner menu plan. And then also I put their bell, like when typically they would need to go back into their virtual classes, as alarms on my phone. And we have like a alarm system where we can speak through our cameras. So I sound like, the receptionist at the desk. Hello, children. It's time for you to go to your next class. Sign into your next class and have a great session. And so they kind of got into the swing of that. And then I have their schedules up. So we turn their playroom into like a playroom / classroom, and we keep their schedules up. We set up the menu plan and do quick breakfasts. Like, I know we want to be the eggs, bacon, pancake, biscuit mama every day, but we can't be the egg, bacon, pancake, biscuit mama every day. Sometimes we got to be the sausage on a stick mama today. Sometimes it's throw that biscuit in the microwave and be blessed on today. And so I've had to not be so hard on myself, and to give myself the permission to rest, even in the midst of it all. The kids take a nap after school too good, and my daughter both get in the bed with their dad and they all go to sleep. And it is the cutest thing ever for them to just have a moment to like brain break and rest. And so trying not to be so hard on yourself, but putting those plans, those literal plans in place is going to be the best route to go. and giving yourself permission to have a day off, to not get it right. Maybe you won't get it right Monday, so try again Tuesday. Don't let your fails on Monday affect your day on Tuesday. Just take it on, take it on and do it to the best of your ability. And for those parents who are sending their kids into school, this is giving you an opportunity to teach them about hygiene and teach them about covering themselves. So when they come home, they got to take a bath with maybe a cap full of bleach, I don't know, vinegar, something. And teaching them about what that looks like. You can't shake hands with your friends and you can't hug your friends and things like that, is going to be really, really important. Creating a kit. When my 7th grader goes out to be with her friends, I have created a kit of hand sanitizer wipes, a little bottle of hand sanitizer, a pack of gloves, and a mask that she can just take with her and disinfect wherever she goes and disinfect whatever she's touching and keeping her mask on. So I know that it's not a fair new normal, but we've got to stop complaining about it and just kind of get with it. Whatever circumstance you're in, you've got to learn how to pivot. Like you said, we've got to learn how to pivot and just kind of get with it. And if the teachers are writing schedules and menus, then you need to write a schedule and a menu. That's how they get through it. That's how we'll get through it.
That was really good. And I feel that we have thousands of mothers that needed to hear you say, don't worry about getting this perfect.
Yeah.
Needed to see how you were willing to step in, whether you were called or not. And that those practical nuggets you just gave, ladies, I hope you had your notebooks out, but go back and replay it, because a lot of the things that you were saying, just the basic structure and how
Yeah.
provide that structure at home when there's so much that's changing. So a few things before we wind down, ladies. So number one, if you enjoyed this session, you want to make sure that you also check out our breakout session, because we're going deeper with Pastor Cora in our breakout session. And it's still around the topic of how do we navigate the twists and turns. But before we close out, the one thing that we always do, Pastor Cora, at Dream Project, and whenever we're partnering with Pastor Jakes, we want to birth God-given dreams over and over again. And we are believers that God gives us dreams to stretch and expand us into who he's calling us to be. And it's not like you're going to have that one dream and then stop, and then the one dream, but they're going to constantly come. And the willingness to evolve and stretch over and over again is an opportunity for you to meet another version of yourself over and over again. So we want to know what's next for Pastor Cora. What is that dream that God has on your heart that we can stand in agreement with you on, around realizing and reaching that dream and goal?
I think it's the same thing as last time. Babies, babies, babies.
Okay.
Believing God for babies. I'm posturing myself and my body, like I said, just to live a healthier life. And God convicted me long ago about praying for a healthy baby when I didn't have a healthy body. And so just to pray that I stay determined, pray that I stay dedicated to just making a healthier life and a healthier body for the promises that I'm waiting on. I would love to do more in the TV world. Like I would like that as an option. I believe that maybe like a small prayer book may be coming soon in my heart and in my soul. And so I don't like to put God in a box. And so normally when people ask me that, it's difficult to really say all that I have planned or am dreaming, because I like for God to show me the dream and then I begin to dream it. And so I'm patiently awaiting the different things that God is showing me in this season, and how to move effectively. I don't write ahead of God. I don't move ahead of God. I don't dream ahead of God. And so if I'm going to have a vision, I'm going to have a dream, I'm going to write anything, I have to know that God has stamped it. And so whatever it is that he has for me to do in this season and in the next seasons, I'm always a willing vessel to his schedule, not mine.
Oh, goodness, what a way to close that out. I mean, you laced it with so many nuggets. Ladies, if you didn't, she doesn't dream ahead of God, and she patiently awaits. Um, Oftentimes I get that question a lot, Pastor Cora. What if I can't see my dream? What if it's unclear? Well, she just said she patiently awaits what God's dream is for her. So if you're watching this and you're here and you're not quite sure what that next dream is, let's take the advice of Pastor Cora. Believe that God will reveal it to you. Don't attempt to write ahead of God. Let's wait and stay in that divine timing. Another thing that I want to say to you, Pastor Cora, is those visions that you're catching glimpses of. We are going to stand in agreement with you on those things. The fact that you're holding on to the promise of mothering children, and we've watched you redefine that, and we've watched that promise come, but you're still holding on to the promise as well. Even though you have some results, you're still in prayer with God. She's not taking her eye off the promise of babies and more children. You know what I already told you. Every time I see you, I remind you, girl, did I tell you my husband said you're going to get a TV show? Did I tell you he said? And so we can't wait. We can't wait. I really know and believe that is in your future as well. And we know that prayer is a part of your calling. I mean, listen, you already know when y'all go watch Morning Glory. That's all I'm gonna say, and be ready to just be laid clean out in your living room. You already know. So we would welcome that gift as well. And so just thank you for your obedience to
Thank
God.
you.
Thank you for your willingness to stretch. And thank you for just continuing to stretch and evolve into the woman that God is calling you to be. We wish you the very best. So
Thank
how can they follow you? I just want you to say your handle so
you.
that the ladies know.
You can follow me at C Jakes Coleman everywhere. I don't have all of the different names and the different on the different sites. I am C Jakes Coleman everywhere.
All right. And ladies, if you all have enjoyed this content, I want to invite you, check out all of the content that is here at the Driving Dreams booth. It's right here on WTAL.org, the resource page. Go through. We have more Dream Warrior chats with iconic dreamers. We have a dynamic panel. We also have a Dream Warrior quiz that if you take it, it's powered by Toyota. You're going to learn a bit about Toyota, but you're also going to learn about your tenacity and what type of dream warrior you are. And let me just say, for the first 100 people that are taking this quiz, and once you share your results, you will also get Bishop Jake's new book. If you want to get Bishop Jake's new book, take that quiz, and we're going to be gifting you all. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Toyota, for your partnership. And ladies, let's go. We are driving these dreams forward in the face of obstacles, in the face of twists and turns. We are driving dreams forward no matter what, because God is calling you to do that. And with God on our side, Pastor Cora is a witness. There is no stopping us. So we are your sisters, and we're standing with you to drive your dream forward. Thank you for attending this Dream Warrior chat with my girl, Pastor Cora.